The P2S from Bambu Lab is arguably one of my favorite printers here in the shop. With its upgraded camera and lighting, the new quick swap nozzle system, and of course, the touchscreen on there, it makes for a really nice and easy 3D printing experience. But there are some things we can do to make the experience a little bit better. So today I've got a couple things that I want to show you, some 3D printed, some you gotta buy from the store, but I guarantee that at least one of these is gonna make your experience with the P2S all that much better. Now, first up on my list of things to get for your 3D printer, this one is not 3D printed, but you can get them on Amazon for pretty cheap. Now, I picked these specific ones up at my local Advanced Auto Parts. I actually got 2 of them for like $9.99. And again, it's just a pair of snips. Not only do they help to cut the filament when you're going to load it in, because they inevitably always have that little bend in them, but they can also help to break supports off of prints that you've just completed. And if you end up with some stringing or something stuck to the nozzle, you can always use these to cut that off. I don't know exactly why Bambu stopped sending these with your 3D printer, but in my opinion, they're probably one of the most important things and most useful things that you can have for the P2S or any printer for that matter. So I will be sure to link everything that I talk about today, whether it's a 3D printed item or something you can purchase from the store. There will be ones linked down in the description below, either for these exact ones or something very similar. And to go along with your snips, we've also 3D printed this handy dandy little connection piece here. Now, the very top of the P2S, as you're seeing now, has a very small space that you can slide little accessory parts into. I printed this out of PLA. The designer recommends something like PETG or a stronger filament, so the little lip here doesn't snap off. I haven't found it to be an issue at all with the PLA, as long as you're not applying too much force to it. And it just holds your snips in place there, or your cutters in place, whatever you want to call them. So they are right there, ready to use next to the machine when the moment comes that you need to cut some filament or start breaking off some support pieces. What's cool about this particular print is it prints on the build plate like this and doesn't take very long, about 30 minutes if I remember correctly, and you can have one printed out and ready to go at a moment's notice when you need it. Now, something that you see off to the side here is a pretty important part of 3D printing. Even if you're not doing multicolor prints with something like an AMS system, you are gonna want something to catch all of the filament poop that ends up pooping out of the back, right? So this one I found on MakerWorld. It is okay in the sense that it prints fairly easily, doesn't need any supports because of the way it's designed. I will say though, if you are doing a lot of multicolor printing, just be prepared to come and empty this thing out every couple hours, especially if you're doing a print at a lower layer height, like a 0.12 or a 0.14 millimeter, and you have more than 3 or 4 colors, you're gonna end up filling this thing up fairly quickly just due to the nature of this design. So there are other models available on MakerWorld, and I will link 1 or 2 of them that I think might be a better option than this. But if you are doing very little multicolor printing, or you only have 1 or 2 filament swaps in your print, and then the rest is just a single color print, something like this is gonna work out very well for you. And the front has even got a little Bambu Lab logo on it that you can color if you want to. I chose not to, just due to the nature of how long it would actually take to print up and do the multicolor swaps and whatnot. But what really caught my attention about this particular one versus some of the other ones is it didn't need any supports. Now, some of them have a support piece designed in right here, but this thing butts right up to the back side of your printer. It's super easy to remove, dump the poop out, and then place it right back in there whenever you need to dump some of the filament waste or the poop out. Now, what's pretty cool about this one in particular is if you're using something like a P1S or a P1P and you're moving to the P2S or adding a P2S to your lineup, this also works on the P1 series as well, because the curvature of the machine is basically the same, and the location of the poop chute is also the same. So you could use this on all of your machines as long as they are the P2 or P1 machines, and it would probably fit the X1 as well, although I don't have one of those in here to test it out, but based off of the designs of those printers, I would say you're good for P1, P2, and the X1 series of 3D printers with this guy. Now, this little guy right here might not look like much, but it can come in handy, especially when you're doing super long prints or printing with something like ASA, ABS, or nylons inside of your P2S. It is a little diffuser to redirect the flow of air from this auxiliary fan inside of the printer here. What this piece does is it basically sticks inside of that auxiliary part's cooling fan, and instead of having the air direct right out at the nozzle, it keeps the chamber cool still, it keeps air circulating, but it blows it in an upward direction. So you stick it in there and it redirects the flow of air up at a 45-degree angle. Again, to keep air flowing through there so it doesn't get too hot, but also at an angle that's not interfering directly with your print if you're doing something longer, or again, some of those higher temp filaments, those engineered grade filaments, you might not necessarily want cool air blowing directly on your print for the entire length of the print. Now these little guys here only take about 20 minutes each. I printed out 2 of them so I could have one for the P2S and then one for the H2C. I don't typically use a scraper at the 3D printer because these little plastic ones, in all honesty, don't do a whole lot to remove things that are actually stuck onto the build plate. For instance, if you have support material that's stuck onto a cryo grip plate or one of the Bambu super tack plates, this little plastic piece isn't really going to do a whole lot. Now, you can download and print basically handles for the little blade that Bambu Lab sends with these printers and make your own scraper with a metal blade. Typically, I just use a fingernail, but on occasion, those little pieces can get jammed up underneath your fingernails, and let me tell you, that's not a pleasant experience. So actually, I downloaded these a couple days ago, and I've been using them since then just to remove that little purge line there. Again, you're not wasting a whole lot of material just to print one of these out. They're nice and small, and whether you've got the P2S, an X1 carbon, H2C, P1P, or even the A1 or A1 mini, these will work on all of those prime lines or purge lines, and I think especially so on something like the P1 or X1 printers, because those prime lines, purge lines, whatever you want to call them, they are exceptionally long, and sometimes again, they get jammed up underneath your fingernails and are not a fun experience. The P2S along with the H2 series have much smaller lines that they create at the very beginning of a print, so it doesn't happen quite as much, but it is a nice little accessory to have. Now, speaking of accessory kits for the P2S, I went ahead and printed this little guy here to hold some spare nozzles. You can change the colors on the top here to whatever color you want, or you can print it in one solid color. Basically, inside you've got room for 2 silicone socks and 3 extra nozzles for the P2S or the H2 series, as well as the A1 series. These nozzles are all the same now. Super easy to use, quick swap nozzles. And I've got 2.4 millimeters and 2.6 millimeter nozzles. Obviously, this one will only fit 3 of them, so the other 0.4 is sitting over where the printer usually sits. So we've got the carrying case, but now you need some spare nozzles. Well, that's next up on my list. Make sure you keep some spare nozzles sitting around for the most common sizes, like I just said. They do offer these nozzles in 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, and 0.8 millimeter if you really want to get up there, printing some thicker walls or have some quicker prints. Again, I tend to stick with the standard 0.4 millimeter nozzle for all of my prints. It's a really good in-between. You get some pretty good looking details, but it also doesn't take forever to print like a 0.2 millimeter nozzle would. Switching up to the 0.6, you're really gonna lose out on a lot of those finer details because of the size of the nozzle opening, but it is pretty important or pretty crucial in my experience. If you're printing with anything carbon fiber or glass fiber reinforced, make sure to go grab yourself at least 1.6 millimeter nozzle, if not a couple of them, because again, you never know when something's gonna get jammed in there, and especially with PETG, it's very difficult to get those clogs out of the nozzles. Not to say it's impossible, but in my experience, it's a lot of times just easier to throw a new nozzle in there than try to figure out a good way to get stuck PETG out from inside of your nozzles. So yeah, a carrying case, some extra nozzles, some pretty good accessories or backups to have for the P2S. And before we move on to the rest of our list, I want to take one quick minute to tell you about today's sponsor, PCBWay. Whether you need custom CNC machining, 3D printing, sheet metal fabrication, or injection molding services, PCBWay offers it all, and some items even offer a quick 24-hour turnaround. PCBWay offers 3, 4, and 5-axis CNC machining, 3D printing out of FDM, SLA, SLS, MJF, and PolyJet, laser cutting, bending, and post-processing of sheet metal, and injection molding services with rapid tooling and multi-cavity molds. To learn more, head on over to PCBWay.com, upload your design, get a free instant quote today, and see what PCBWay can do for you. Thanks to PCBWay for sponsoring today's video. Now, back to the content. All right, and moving on to the next thing on our list here today. A couple days ago, while printing with the P2S, I got this little notification telling me it's time to lubricate my threaded rods. I ignored it like I usually do for the first time, but what I will say is it's a good idea not to ignore things like that because they're what drives the machine, right? So what we have here are these handy little threaded caps. They go on the lubricant grease that Bambu sends with all of their 3D printers, and I printed them out in a couple different colors. I don't expect them to last forever, especially when you're sliding them up and down those threaded rods inside of the printer. But they essentially just have this little curvature here. There's a tiny little hole at the end, and basically you just thread it on, give it a quick squeeze, and you can run it up and down those threaded rods to keep them lubricated so the machine continues to work as you would expect it to. Now, if you're anything like me, when you first get your 3D printer, you're super excited and always looking for new and exciting things that you can add to the 3D printer, like you're doing right now. One of those things is build plates. Not only do the build plates serve additional purposes, with something like this super tack plate here being really good for sticking to PETG and PLA, even when the build plate is completely cooled down. It's got super good adhesion, something like the cryo grip plates from BQ. Those have super great adhesion as well. But you can also get things like these build plates. I don't know how well this is going to show up on camera. However, one side is a carbon fiber and the other is more of this diamond shape, whatever you want to call it. Now these are super cool because, well, they don't just look cool from the naked eye, they actually leave this print on the bottom side of your prints. So collecting a couple different kinds of build plates means you are going to need something to hold those build plates in place in, and that's where this next print comes in handy. Not only does it hold up to 4 different build plates, but you can have your cool design sheets like this diamond and carbon fiber one here. You can also have your super tack plates, your regular textured PEI sheet that comes with the printer, but it also hooks into the printer. What you're seeing now in the B-roll shot, essentially this guy just slides inside of the little opening on the right-hand side of your printer. Now, those of you who know the P2S just a little bit will know that there is an inlet here for the fan that's on the inside. So in order to make sure you can still use that fan, this design kind of has a pass-through here. So air can still move through this little area underneath here, and it can still travel up inside of the fan. So you don't have to worry about it blocking anything. And another thing that's cool about this design in particular is it's got these little tiny hooks here. So when the printer is moving, because it does have little rubber anti-vibration feet, this thing is locked into place underneath the printer, so it is not going anywhere. Now, along the lines of build plates, you're also gonna need something to clean your build plates off. Now, I wouldn't recommend using something like this if you're just using, say, a super tack plate or the cryo grip plate, because this is going to require some isopropyl alcohol to go along with it. This is a 3-part print, 4 parts if you want to count the base here. And essentially you can put your favorite cloth inside of there. I've just used, for example, some of these blue shop towels. You will have to change this one out a little bit more frequently if you decide to go with the blue shop towels, but I have an abundance of them, and I actually just took one full sheet, folded it in half lengthwise, and then folded it in half one more time, and was able to, I guess, kind of set this in place kind of like that. And there is a little bit that's hanging off of the edges here. That doesn't really cause a problem. And then you've got your top part here, threads over top of that thread, and it's got some little grooves to help hold your paper down in place. And then you've got your handle right there. Just be sure you don't twist it too much, or you might end up having to reprint yourself one. You can spray a little bit of isopropyl alcohol on the sheet itself. If you're using a microfiber, it works the same way. Then you can use it to wipe off your build plates. So I've got a build plate here. Don't use isopropyl alcohol on your super tack plates or your cryo grips. I'm just showing this as an example. You would just wipe back and forth. You get the idea of how to clean things, right? Wait for the alcohol to dry off, and then you're on to your next print. Now, moving on to some of the last few in today's lineup. If you ever need to change the nozzle on the P2S, you're gonna want some way to hold that front cover. Like you see here, this little piece slides over your X and Y rods next to the nozzle and then leaves an area for that front cover to flip around and sit into. That way you're not trying to shove it up under the drag chain or just let it sit there in the way while you're trying to change the nozzle. About 40 minutes, I believe, is what it takes. It does have a few pieces of support to hold up this little piece here that ends up holding your front cover in place. That way, when you need to change the nozzle out, you've got it sitting there ready to go. And speaking of bins or things that you can use next to your 3D printer to store things, just like our little friend here, that holds our snips in place. These ones also have the same little hooks in the back there. So you can just slot it into place next to this front lid here and next to your pair of snips. They do offer these boxes in a couple different sizes. I feel like for me the most useful is going to be this longer one here that I just showed, but you can keep things like your build plate cleaner right up in there if that's the route you want to go. You can also keep your little scrapers up in there and of course your thing to hold the fan cover. And those are just going to sit there. They're going to be right there ready whenever you need them next to the printer. Another thing you could keep sitting inside of there would be that lubricant grease that we threaded that little cap onto. Just a few things in my mind that instead of having to go look around them in different parts of the shop or your bedroom, wherever you have your 3D printer set up, they're just here ready to go right on the printer for whenever you need them next. And last but not least is probably our quickest print of the day. Right at first glance, you might not know or understand what this little thing does. However, on the backside of your 3D printer, they have made it a little bit easier. When you buy the P2S combo unit, you've got a buffer in the back so you can feed filament from your external spool as well as the AMS, not at the same time, but you can also use it to hook up 2 different AMS units. That part, that's pretty easy. There's a little button on the back side of there you can use to remove the PTFE tube. However, on the other side of the buffer where the PTFE tube goes into the single tube and leads out and into the back of the printer, you are gonna need something like either a screwdriver, which is what I've typically used in the past. It is a little bit more difficult to see and reach into there, but it does work. Or you just print one of these things out in about 19 minutes and it wraps around the PTFE tube, slots into place, and basically presses on the little button on the inside there to release the PTFE tube. I know I've had to do mine on my AMS unit on the P1P, and unlike the P2S, the P1P, you need this for both sides where the AMS is feeding into the buffer as well as where the buffer is feeding out and into the printer. So having something like this comes in handy not only for something like a P2S, but it will come in handy on something like your P1 series machines or the X1 Carbon as well, if you have more than one printer. And that is going to do it for today's video. If you got any other suggestions of things that people should get for their P2S or other Bambu Lab or 3D printers, leave them down in the comments section below. And as usual, everything that I've printed out today is linked down in the description below, and things that I purchased at my local home center or Amazon, I will be sure to leave a link to the exact item if I can find it. If not, I will leave a link to something very similar like these snips here. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on the next video. Huge thank you to PCBWay for sponsoring this one, and I will see you in the next one. If you're interested in watching another video, there's another one queued up for you right over there.